In this episode, we are going to discuss the Shrine of Delphi as inspiration for Firelink Shrine. Delphi was considered by ancient Greek as the center of the world, and it hosted the famous Oracle of Delphi, a woman able to make prediction of the future. In this episode, we are going to use the term maiden and virgin as synonyms, especially considering the Middle Age context of the game. Also, we are not going to consider Shanalot a firekeeper, as the dialogue of Navlan implied the fact that she might be not. In the first part, we are going to recognize the Shrine of Delphi in Greece as inspiration for the Firelink Shrine. In the second part, we are going to identify the Oracle of Delphi in Anastasia of Astora. Finally, we are going to analyze the role of the goat in the rituals of Delphi and a possible connection with Front. There are several reasons why we may recognize in Firelink Shrine the Shrine of Delphi in Greece. The first, of course, is the common aesthetic of verdant ruins placed over a hill. In Greek mythology, Delphi was identified with the center of the world. In Dark Souls, Firelink Shrine is the center hub of the game. According to the legend, Delphi was initially covered in a poisonous fog, and was guarded by a python, which later was defeated by Apollo, who, as a representation of sun, dispersed the fog. This story vaguely recalls the prologue of Dark Souls, where the grey mist was dispersed by the god of sun. Also, as Delphi, Firelink Shrine is presided by a serpent. Probably the most famous cult in ancient Greece, and the characteristic aspect of the Shrine of Delphi is the presence of Pythia, a virgin or maiden with the ability to see in the future. As we recognize Firelink Shrine as Delphi, the only woman we could recognize as Pythia in the area is Anastasia of Astora. The role of Pythia could only be given to a virgin maiden, and the description of the dingy robe describes Anastasia as such. Another element suggesting Anastasia to have the role of Oracle is the cut of her tongue, as if she was punished for something she has said. This is confirmed by her dialogue, in which she refused to speak even after the restoration of her tongue. The item Eyes of the Firekeeper allow to the Firekeeper in Dark Souls 3 to see the future betrayal of the PC and the end of the Age of Fire. It is also said that the eyes are those of the first Firekeeper, and that the Firekeepers coming after were all deprived of the sight, which is also mentioned by the Firekeeper in Dark Souls 3. Anastasia is the first Firekeeper we meet, and those after her are all deprived of sight or have the eyes covered, which might be what this description refers to. If Anastasia was the first Firekeeper, and then the owner of those eyes, we could speculate her to have made the same prediction of betrayal and darkness already in Dark Souls 1, which might be the reason why there would have been such a needing to silence her voice. Beside the myth, the location for the Temple of Delphi is said to have been decided thanks to a goat, which breathed a chasm coming from an opening in the rock. This made the goat behave strangely, so that it was found the chasm to have the ability to show vision from the future. Around the crack, the Temple of Apollo was built, and inside the Pythia conducted her prediction, which were inspired by the inhalation of the chasm. The prediction used to start by wetting a goat, which reaction would have decided if the gods were ready to grant the revelation to the Pythia. This legend, and the importance of the goat in the rituals of Delphi, explain how Front harnessed Anastasia's role as the Oracle after her imprisonment. The following are some considerations about the matter. The name of the Oracle, Pythia, make reference to Python, the Serpent of Delphi. The toothy serpent seems to particularly resemble a goat, which, as we saw, is related to the process of prediction. The opening from which it emerged in the inner part of Firelink Shrine might represent the crack emanating the chasm. Front's breath, indeed, is said to have a terrible stench. Before the appearance of the opening in Firelink Shrine, the area is covered in water, so that when Frumpt comes out of the opening, the water coming in must have wet it, which recall the wetting of the goat before the prophecy. Finally, we can notice how Frumpt makes several prophecies about the fate of the PC, which make it similar to an oracle. That of the Oracle of Delphi is not the only cult based in Delphi which has exclusively female priestess. In the next episode, we are going to talk about the cult of Hestia, the goddess of the earth, or fireplace, whose home is indeed Delphi. As always, I want to thank all the Dark Souls wikis I used for the realization of this video, and the video about the Oracle of Delphi published by Ted Ed on YouTube, of which I stole a little clip. This series of video is only one part of a broader project which is in my book The Soulsborne Thesis. You can read it on WordPress or support it through the Kickstarter. Both the links are in the description. Thank you for your time and see you to the next one. Bye!